People always say weddings bring families together, but no one talks about the moments when they tear someone apart. I never expected to sit alone at my own sister's wedding, watching the one place I thought I belonged slowly push me to the corner, literally. And I definitely never expected a stranger, a single dad with tired eyes and a gentle smile, to walk up and say the one sentence that changed everything: act like you're with me. If I'd known that pretending for a few hours would lead to the most unexpected twist of my life, I might have believed that sometimes the people meant for us find us exactly when our hearts are breaking. Chapter 1. I had promised myself I wouldn't cry, not today, not when my sister deserved all the happiness she could get. But promises are fragile, easily shattered by an unkind word or a cruel glance, and my family had no shortage of those today. I had arrived early to help, dressed in the soft blue gown my mother had chosen for me. She liked coordinating everything, even her daughter's emotions, though I'd never quite fit the color palette she wanted for her perfect family. It started subtly, the way it always did. My aunt whispering behind her hand, my cousins looking at me the way people look at a broken chair. They don't want to use it, but they don't want to throw it away either. And then came the final blow, my mother's voice, sharp as ever, slicing through whatever confidence I'd mustered. You'll sit at the edge table, dear. The family tables are full. You understand, right? There were empty seats, I counted them, but arguing would only make things worse. So I nodded, pretending I didn't feel the sting, pretending the small round table in the furthest corner didn't feel like a punishment. The ceremony was beautiful, I admit that. My sister looked radiant, glowing with the kind of joy that softened even my bruised heart. I smiled for her, clapped for her, cheered for her. But the moment the reception began, I found myself shrinking into my little lonely corner, staring at my untouched plate. People glanced my way, not out of curiosity but pity, and that made everything worse. A wedding was supposed to be about love, yet I sat alone like a forgotten ornament, wondering why my own family found me so easy to overlook. My throat tightened when my father walked past without even noticing me. That was the moment I realized the tears I'd sworn not to shed were dangerously close. I looked away from the room, from the couples dancing, from the soft laughter filling the air. I just needed to breathe, to hide, to not fall apart where everyone could see. But before I could escape, a soft voice broke through the noise. Is this seat taken? I looked up, startled. A man stood there, tall, with gentle brown eyes and a nervous smile, holding a little girl dressed in pink. Her tiny hand curled around his collar as she peeked over his shoulder, staring at me with curious eyes. Oh, I said, fumbling for words. No, it's not. You can sit. He sat down carefully, placing the little girl on the chair beside him. She swung her legs happily and gave me a shy wave. I waved back, surprised to feel something warm in my chest, something that wasn't loneliness. I'm Ethan, the man said, extending a hand. This is Lily. She's adorable, I said, shaking his hand gently. And I'm Anna. He glanced around the room, then back at me. You okay? You look like you're trying really hard not to disappear. I laughed weakly, not expecting him to read me so easily. Family stuff. But I'm fine. He tilted his head slightly, not believing a word, but he didn't push. Lily leaned toward me suddenly, offering me her cupcake. You look sad, she said in the innocent honesty only children possess. Cupcake helps. My heart cracked open a little. Thank you, I whispered, and that was when my mother appeared, her eyes narrowing when she saw Ethan and Lily at my table, as if my loneliness was acceptable but my company wasn't. Anna, she said sharply. Why are you sitting here with strangers? Before I could speak, Ethan leaned forward with a calm, confident smile. We're not strangers, he said. Then he turned to me and said the words that made my heart stumble. Act like you're with me. Suddenly my mother's expression shifted, confusion, then surprise, and finally something I'd rarely seen from her directed at me, hesitation. She muttered something under her breath and walked away. I stared at Ethan, stunned. Why did you? Because, he said softly, no one should sit alone at a wedding. He didn't know it, but in that moment, he saved me from drowning. Chapter 2. For the first time that night, my corner table didn't feel like exile. Ethan talked easily, the kind of conversation that didn't require effort or masks. He told me about Lily, how she loved sparkles, hated broccoli, and thought every wedding was a princess coronation. He laughed when he said it, a gentle warmth in his voice that made my chest ache in a way I couldn't quite explain. There was something in him, softness wrapped around quiet strength, like someone who had learned to hold himself together for the sake of a tiny hand that depended on his. When he asked about me, I hesitated. What was I supposed to say? That I was the invisible daughter? The one who never fit her mother's mold? But something in his sincere gaze made the truth slip out. I told him about the constant judgment, the impossible expectations, the way I always seemed to disappoint even when I tried my hardest. He listened, really listened, as if every word mattered. No one had done that in years. You don't deserve that, he said simply. And those 4 words felt like someone stitching the pieces of my heart back together. The music shifted then, a slow song drifting over the room. Couples moved to the dance floor, swaying in soft light. Lily clapped her hands excitedly. Daddy dance, she demanded, tugging at Ethan's sleeve. He laughed. Okay, but let's ask Anna first. He looked at me, offering his hand. Feel like pretending a little longer? I hesitated, not because I didn't want to, but because I wasn't used to being chosen. I'd like that, I said quietly. His hand was warm, steady, grounding. When he placed his other hand at my waist, a strange calm washed over me. It wasn't romantic, not exactly. It was something deeper, something like safety with a hint of possibility. We swayed slowly, Lily giggling as she danced around us in little circles. Halfway through the song, my sister approached us, her wedding dress trailing behind her like a cloud. Anna, she whispered, pulling me into a hug mid-dance. I'm so sorry about earlier. I didn't know. I swallowed the lump in my throat. It's okay. No, she said firmly. It's not. She glanced at Ethan and smiled warmly. Thank you for staying with her. He nodded with a quiet smile. It's been my pleasure. When my sister walked away, I realized the tightness in my chest had loosened. For the first time that night, I didn't feel like the forgotten sister. I felt seen. Present. Important. As the song ended, Ethan leaned close enough for me to hear his soft breath. You deserve people who show up for you, he said. Don't let anyone convince you otherwise. A warmth spread through me, stronger than before. Something inside me whispered that this moment, this man, this unexpected kindness, wasn't just a passing event. It felt like the start of something I didn't yet have a name for. When the night finally ended, I walked out of the hall with Ethan and Lily by my side. Lily slipped her small hand into mine as if she'd known me forever. Ethan smiled at the sight, a soft, almost shy curve of his lips.